So I made this video yesterday, but I'm going to keep on making more videos about this because these are pieces of artwork that I did during the years from 1980s the to this year 2024. This one here is a piece that actually it's two pieces of paper. It's a watercolor, and I did this during my years in London. I started to do it because in London I was going to art school. I was going to St. Martin's, and so I was very impressed with the computer science at that time. The images of the computers had these tiny pieces of color. And this one here, I think it was a premonition of what was going to happen now in the years 2004, 2024. Surveillance and the eye is a big thing today. And this painting I did in 1978. I was in London, so I started it back then, and I was this one here is another one which is again a computerized type of thing, but it's all paint. I painted one piece after one square after another. This is about creation, about DNA, and I studied biology, so this one here was influenced by my studies, and creation in general, but a woman's creation, even creation on microscopic level, was my idea. And the double helix, it was a book that I read about Watson and Crick, the famous Nobel Prize winners, but it was an inspiration to me then. This is very these are the pieces that I really enjoyed, and this piece in particular is in Italy with my friend Marina bought it, and so it's in Florence. This one here is a period that I was in an apartment in Via delle Cinque Giornate in Florence, and so I did these big paintings, and this one is one of the big, beginning of some of the big paintings. This is a room in Via delle Cinque Giornate with one of my paintings in it. This painting I took to Dubai in 2007, and it was on exhibition there, but it disappeared from the gallery Mondo Arte quite mysteriously, and along with another painting which was also a big painting. This is 1 meter by and a half and 1 meter and a half. So I did these in 1984 in the apartment, and I didn't sell them. I didn't get anything for all my work, because some people just take stuff, and they kept on doing this. Even in Paris, they took some of my paintings and some of my works, and so it's just the way it is, unfortunately. This one is Joseph's Dream. It's very abstract, and it's I don't know where it is now. It is 1985, 86. I did that in Florence, and this one here is a painting that is in Berlin somewhere, because I took it there and I left it with a gallery there, and it's called Time Zones. I really love this painting because it's about the different times of life in different places. This one here is another painting that I really loved, and I put a lot of effort in it, and it is also, again, the little squares of time I even have a poem about the little squares of time, because here I was trying to fix the time, fix the time of my life. I was about 28. Ecstasis is the name, and it's the flow of time. It's very abstract. So these were in all in Via della Cinque Giornate, and very big paintings. This one here is also a painting that was in Via delle Cinque Giornate, and I was 32 when I started to paint this. This is Dasein, influenced by my studies. I was studying Heidegger then, and Dasein meant that being there, and so I was there in this painting. Painting really was expressing ideas. People do have ideas, and you have to dedicate time and energy to expressing your ideas. Nowadays it's so much easier because you have so many different ways of expressing yourself. And this one here is about creation again. Water, the water world, the oceanic creation. These are like starting from the microscopic to fishy things, and the mysterious things, because we don't know. We don't know what there is in the underworld of the oceans. But creation always means one thing goes into another. It's just sex is everywhere, and you're surrounded by it, and there's all this mysterious stuff going on. So that was my idea about life in general. And this one here is kind of religious, the Night of the Angels. This is a chapter in the Holy Quran, and angelic beings, we don't know about them, but supposedly in Islamic tradition, they are in on earth, and they are there in a big way on a certain night where you can pray and be close to the Creator. So this one is one that is about dialogue. These are a series of paintings, and I took them to Frankfurt in some years ago. So this is another one of them, dialogue, and this is as well dialogue. I was having an exhibition in 2018 in Frankfurt, and in 2019 I was in the Evangelische Frauenkirche. In 2018 I was in the Workers' Union, and so dialogue was started in 1989. There's 6 or 7 of them, and this one here is where I did them. This is Florence, and this is a Florence town hall. This is the synagogue. This is the countryside, and I wrote a whole book about Florence, and what I did there, A Time for Dreamers, which is my life over there, my friends, and studies and that sort of things. This one here, Arc-en-Ciel, was about a film I saw with my friends Robin, who was from New York, and Sarina, who was Australian, and the film was about a painter, a woman, and her mystical kind of attitude and experience. Sarina was a soprano. Is a soprano now, and she was studying to be a soprano. But I love the way she, was teaching, but was singing at the same time. And it was a hectic life, but she loved to sing. So she dedicated herself and her time, her weekends, to singing in churches and in weddings, and whenever she could. And then later on she got into the conservatorio, and she studied how to sing, and then she got into the Maggio Musicale, and so it just pays to be consistent. So that's what she did. I was consistent in painting. So this is a painting about Philippe Leduc, which was a painter, and I thought I did it because I was inspired by him. But Enzo Lenzetti, who was a very kind man who helped me as a painter, he helped me a lot when I didn't have any friends who looked out for me, and so Enzo was a Florentine, and he is still living in Florence, but he was very, very kind, and he bought the painting. So this one is a painting about the people in Florence, and everybody was having their life. This is Santo Spirito, in where Sarina was living with Marco Pardini, who is a photographer, still there. Marco and his apartment. He was also doing rent control like myself. I was. Then, coming out of Via delle Cinque Giornate and in Via Fiessolana, I found a studio, and here I am working in this studio, and it had a beautiful staircase going upstairs, and the upstairs was a corridor, and I lived upstairs. This is the front room and the door of the studio atelier. I took my cat Mushi, and there was a beautiful Scottish girl who actually bought this painting from me, and she took it back to Edinburgh. That's Mushi was an incredible talking cat. This is the front door of the Via Fiessolana studio, which I decorated because it wasn't very pretty when I went there. Actually, that area, that street wasn't very nice. This is Santo Spirito church. The facade is really beautiful, and many people are inspired by it. Santo Spirito is in a lot of my works, because people wanted to buy a souvenir about Santo Spirito. The front of it, which was is the facade, I think is by Brunelleschi, a Renaissance painter and architect. And in my studio I used to produce these things, and I had assistants who actually helped me paint. And this one, for instance, I had done the design, and a woman from Korea, she had incredible coloring talent, and she did that. And then there was this thing that I did with kind of sculptures that I did with wire, and they also disappeared. I had brought them with me to Spain, but they took the sculptures from me, from my garden. This painting I did in Via delle Cinque Giornate. It's a big painting, and a friend of mine, Wilma, whose daughter was into fashion, she bought this painting, and it's called Momenti Brillanti, brilliant moments when you are on top of things and things are going brilliantly. This also was one of my first paintings in Via delle Cinque Giornate, this big painting. I sold it to an American, and I did a lot of sitting rooms and bedrooms and things because wishful thinking. I never again had a real bedroom, a real place of so this is my experience with the countryside, and my experience with Ventimiglia, and this one is my experience with Viareggio, where I met Silvia, and I stayed with Silvia for about 5 or 6 months before going back to look after my mother. This is also the countryside. The countryside is a favorite of mine. I used to take walks in Careggi, the road to Careggi, from Via Bolognese, and then there's of course the wall came down in '89, and Florence was flooded with Eastern Europeans, and who used to walk down, especially because there was the war in Sarajevo. So a lot of people just came down to Italy as refugees, and so that was when I had my studio. And this is when I did also a lot of interiors. I remember in Via Bolognese we had a beautiful apartment, thanks to Jürgen, my flatmate, who he was a very good friend, and he went to Africa to work, but he had made me, he had given me the possibility to stay in the apartment, so that was great, in Via delle Cinque Giornate. And this one is my paintings in decorating a bar, a cafe in Paris called Café Moretti in the Rue Joncoy. But today you can't find them there because the owners changed and they took away that possibility. So then there's Venice. I've got these things that I did in Venice, which paintings that I sold to a shop called Petra. Daniela, the owner of the shop, was very nice. She actually helped me a lot, and she was very very appreciative and actually talked to me like a normal person. I love the way she was so warm and kind, to artists. This is in 2017. I was in Luxembourg, and in Luxembourg I did some paintings, and I had a show in a cafe there, and I was staying with a woman who was half Palestinian, half Russian. And then in Frankfurt, I had a show in 2018. I had a show in the Union, thanks to thanks to Blanca Huber and Susanna. Susanna gave me hospitality in her apartment. So I sold quite a few paintings, and some of them were of Paris, and these are my Parisian paintings. Thanks to Margaret Crowther, I had a place to actually do paint, and I had it's very difficult to find a proper place to produce artwork in Paris, and so these were thanks to the English artist residency called Adzak, left by the artist Roy Adzak, that I did these things for Paris and in Paris. And my iconic one of Tour Eiffel, I don't know where it is, but this is also the Tour Eiffel seen and the Seine, seen by from a bedroom window. Another thing that I did, which was very much Parisian, and the Arc de Triomphe. And then this one I did because it was an English residency, and I think Margaret was very kind to give me that possibility. So I did the Queen. This is the Queen with the dolphins. That the Queen's period was good for artists. And this one here is of Freiburg, with the river that flows there. This one is Kehl, and this is the bridge called Europa Bridge, which goes from Strasbourg to Kehl. And then there are basically all of these things are in this book, that I wrote, A Time for Dreamers, which you can find on Amazon. But I think they've run out of copies. I paid $3,000 to self-publish this book, and pounds, that is. And today I don't have a single one, and Amazon doesn't have any either. So this was Austin Macaulay Publishers, and they didn't give me a penny for anything that was sold, because I think all of them were sold. But I don't know what, if people aren't honest, I can't help that, and so in art, unfortunately, there's a lot of people living off people who can't defend themselves. So you have to be careful about that, and that is happening all the time. So that's my message to artists, is that if you do art, don't expect to be repaid for your work. You actually work for the idea and your production. So that's my message to people who do art, and I hope that this has been helpful to someone who wants to produce this. It's consistency. Now I do videos, but it is consistency, because you have the message inside of you, and by the grace of God, you can get that out and communicate good things to people.